Please be seated. I'd like to begin by sharing a story with all of you. A few months ago, as a good friend of mine who goes by the name of Tanner Davies and myself were embarking on a hike through the mystical forest of Oakville, we shared a magical moment. As we reached the end of our hike and sat down on the grass which was surrounded by trees, we realized how beautiful the scenery was. PJ, Tanner gently whispered in my ear. Are we in Narnia? No, Tan, I laughed a silly laugh. We're in Oakville. Wow, what a great place we live in. I'm so grateful, Tanner replied. I sat up from my resting position and I turned to face Tanner directly. As I stared into his eyes, which were more blue than the Pacific Ocean itself, I said, "You're right, Tan. I'm pretty darn grateful too." That is why I'm standing before you all right now, to talk about gratitude and what I think it is. You see, in the 9th grade, my first year of high school, I knew of the word gratitude, but I rarely acted on it. I was pompous, arrogant, and I walked around as if the world owed me something. I grew up in the affluent city of Oakville, always got what I wanted for Christmas, and was one of the few out of my elementary school to move onwards to a private school. I had a million different things to be grateful for, yet I wasn't. This ego that I seemed to develop carried on with me till the March break of last year, when a group of friends and I embarked on a service trip to the country of Peru. To say that Peru was an eye-opening experience would be a complete under-exaggeration. While most of you are probably assuming it was a level of poverty in the area of where I was working that surprised me, it wasn't. It was the gratitude I witnessed firsthand. These families and individuals who have only a fraction, and I honestly mean a fraction, of what each and every single one of us have, were so happy with what they had that the only complaints that came out of their mouths when they thought that my friends and I had either been working too hard or too long. What a shock this was to me. To think that I actually had the audacity to complain about things like having to take 20 seconds out of my day to put my lunch tray away, or not having the latest iPhone. All these people had nothing, but were still some of the happiest people I've ever met. Now believe me on this, I've seen High School Musical enough to know how awfully cliche some things sound, and as cliche as this is going to sound, going on a service trip really did change my life. I don't mean it changed my life like my mother and father now call me Pedro, but I mean it changed my life by finally allowing me to realize just how lucky I am and how much I have to be grateful for. I don't hesitate on saying that I'm the luckiest kid in the world, because I know I am. Or maybe at least one of them, because I haven't married Hilary Duff yet. But hey, until then, I'm up there. There's a quote I once read that really stuck with me. Some Greek dude named Epictetus once said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for which he has." Now, I don't know how to speak Greek, but I'm imagining what he said was something similar to, a smart person is somebody who's grateful of what they have, sorry, voice crack, grateful of what they have, rather than sad about what they don't have. Now, I'm not trying to say that's some terrible act to complain about stuff in life, because in reality, we're human. We all tend to stress at the small stuff or get really mad at somebody at least a couple times a week, if not a day. Sure, it's frustrating when we have a bunch of homework to do, or when a sibling is really bugging us. But at the end of the day, it's good to be grateful that we even have a school to go to or a sibling to be mad at. Take it from me. I grew up with 3 older brothers who I definitely spent a lot of time being annoyed with. But as we've all grown up and started seeing each other less, I can easily say there's nothing in the world I miss more than spending time with my brothers. It's too bad that I've only recently started to appreciate spending time with my brothers, because I don't see them as much as I used to. If there's one thing that you all take away from my speech, I want it to be this. Appreciate what you have, because honestly, you have no clue how much you're going to miss it once it's gone. Who would have thought that I'd actually miss getting a wet willy 1,000 times a day? Not me. Friends, you guys are the best. You allowed my transition into Appleby College to be the easiest high school transition in the history of high school transitions. You've all been there for me whenever I needed you guys. Teachers and faculty, thank you for shaping me into the young man I am today and guiding me throughout my time at Appleby College. It's been the best 4 years of my life, and it definitely wouldn't have been if I flunked out. So thanks for not flunking me out. Mom and Dad, I'll never be able to thank you two enough for everything you've done for me. I know I'm not the best at showing it at times, but I love you guys and don't know where I'd be without you. Now, I started my speech about talking the great experience Tan and I shared and what we had in mind. So now, would you all please rise and sing verses 1 and 4 of the national anthem to the country in which I'm extremely grateful to live in, hymn number 659, O Canada.